Have you ever met someone and felt just completely drawn to them? Not just for who they are, but for who they make you feel you could be. Well, we're going to dive into one of the most powerful and honestly kind of sneaky archetypes in all of human history, the ideal lover. And trust me, it's a force that goes way beyond romance. It's used at the highest levels of power, and once you see it, you'll start seeing it everywhere.
So let me ask you a question. What in the world do Napoleon Bonaparte and John F. Kennedy have in common? I mean, think about it. One is a 19th century French emperor, the other a 20th century American president. They're worlds apart. But believe it or not, these two men are connected by the exact same powerful hidden influence.
And that's it right there. Both of these incredibly powerful, brilliant leaders fell hook, line, and sinker for a master-level seduction. And no, we're not necessarily talking about a romantic affair. This was about something much bigger: ambition, identity, and the absolutely irresistible pull of a perfectly crafted fantasy.
All right, so let's break this down. Let's get into the mechanics of it all. What is this ideal lover's secret? And how does this thing actually work its magic?
Okay, here is the brilliant, mind-bending twist. The ideal lover doesn't make you fall in love with them. No. They make you fall in love with an idealized version of yourself. It's like they hold up this perfect mirror that reflects back all of your secret hopes, your deepest fantasies, your untapped potential. It makes you feel seen, truly seen, in a way that nobody else ever has. And this is where it gets really interesting. Yeah, the name sounds like it belongs in a romance novel, but its real power, its most potent use, is often in the worlds of politics, power, and mass influence. This is a tool for seducing not just a single person, but an entire nation. So let's see this in action. Let's start with one of history's most intimidating figures. I mean, how on earth do you seduce a guy like Napoleon Bonaparte? Well, it all started right here, at a party back in 1798. The host was this brilliant, cunning diplomat named Talleyrand, and he saw something in Napoleon. He saw that this military genius, this man of action, secretly longed to be something he wasn't, a true aristocrat, a man with legitimacy and effortless grace. Talleyrand saw that insecurity, that little crack, and he decided to pry it wide open. And here's the playbook he used, a perfect four-step method. First, he identified the ideal, that hidden desire Napoleon had to be seen as more than just a soldier. Step 2, he created a dazzling spectacle, a party so incredible Napoleon would never forget it. Step 3 was the subtle part. He put Roman busts all around the room, planting an idea. And finally, step 4, he sparked the ambition. He started talking about reviving the old imperial glories of ancient Rome. See, he wasn't just flattering Napoleon, he was handing him the blueprint for his own glorious destiny. And the result? Just look at this. That glint in the eye, that was the exact moment of seduction. That's when the fantasy took hold. Talleyrand painted a picture so powerful, so compelling, that Napoleon literally spent the next few years of his life making it real. It's just a wild example of how reflecting someone's ideal back at them can literally change the course of history. Okay, so that's how you get one person, even a powerful one. But what if you wanted to scale this up? What if your target was millions of people all at once? Well, for that, we turn to a more modern master of this art. John F. Kennedy had this incredible sense of the American psyche in the late 1950s. You look at the reality. On the left, the country was comfortable, sure, but also kind of bored, a little conformist. It felt like it had lost its sense of mission. So what did Kennedy do? Like a perfect, ideal lover, he saw that national yearning and reflected a fantasy back at the country. He didn't talk about comfort, he talked about a new pioneer spirit, the grand adventure of the space race, and the noble duty of public service with the Peace Corps. And the effect was absolutely electric. People didn't just support his policies, they fell in love with him. And more importantly, they fell in love with the image of America he was showing them. He made an entire country feel adventurous, noble, and part of something huge. He became the living symbol of their own idealized identity. So if you really want to get your head around the psychology of all this, there is one perfect metaphor that explains it all. Think of the ideal lover as the portrait painter. This is the key to the whole thing. And man, this quote just says it all, doesn't it? Like a master artist, the ideal lover just airbrushes away all your flaws. They don't just show you your best self, they take it a step further. They frame you in a myth. They make you godlike, immortal. And honestly, who wouldn't want that? It's an incredibly intoxicating feeling to be seen not just for who you are, but for who you've always secretly dreamed you could be. But, and there's always a but, isn't there? Creating an image that perfect, that godlike, comes with a huge risk. Because fantasies, by their very nature, are incredibly fragile, and the fall from that kind of height can be absolutely brutal. This is the one question that just hangs over every single one of these seductions. Because it doesn't matter how beautiful the painting is, the messy, complicated, imperfect reality is always lurking just beneath the surface, waiting to tear right through the canvas. And that's the core danger in a nutshell. You're not building something on a solid foundation. You're creating a beautiful, shimmering bubble. The entire seduction is precarious. A single pinprick of reality can cause the whole thing to just pop. And history is just littered with the wreckage of these burst bubbles. You've got Casanova, whose spiritual ideal turned out to be anything but, leaving him humiliated. You have the famous lovers George Sand and Alfred de Musset. They built each other up as these poetic geniuses, but when the messy reality of their lives set in, the disgust was visceral, and it led to this incredibly bitter public breakup. And even JFK's Camelot, that shining, perfect image of his presidency, was seriously challenged by revelations that came out after his death, complexing that perfect picture and leaving a lot of people feeling betrayed. So here's the bottom line. This is a high-risk, high-reward game. The more intense and perfect the fantasy you paint, the more shocking and brutal the inevitable crash back down to reality is going to be for your target. The height of the fall is directly proportional to the height of the pedestal you built. And that leaves us with one last question to chew on, because this force, it's all around us. It's in advertising, it's in politics, it's in our own personal relationships. So take a second and really think about it. Who, right now, might be painting an idealized portrait for you? And more importantly, is it a picture you actually want to believe in?